For 3 weeks now, we have been tracking the situation in Myanmar. We've reported about almost every key character in the story, like the military that has seized power, the political leadership that remains in detention, China, which has been accused of backing this coup, and the people of Myanmar who are out on the streets protesting. They're putting their life on the line for democracy. But there is one more character in the story that we haven't really spoken about yet. It is the world's largest social media network. I'm talking about Facebook. Yes, Facebook too has a major role to play in Myanmar. Why? Because in Myanmar, Facebook is the internet. Facebook is so big in this country that the military, right after seizing power, placed it under a ban. That's one of the first things that the generals did. Put a ban on Facebook. Now, the people of Myanmar are circumventing that ban. Myanmar's press is using Facebook to report about the protests. These pictures were shared today. Journalists are live streaming from protest sites. Even Myanmar's military is on Facebook. Let's show you their page. It's called Tatmadaw True Information Team. Tatmadaw is what the army is called in Myanmar. Yesterday, the military chief delivered his second address to the nation in less than 2 weeks. He warned civil servants against joining the pro-democracy protests. The military used Facebook to spread the word, but now Facebook is going after this very account. It is reducing the distribution of content from Myanmar's military. This is technically not a ban. This is an attempt to limit their reach. So fewer people will be able to see the military's posts. Why is Facebook doing this? It says the generals are spreading misinformation, so they are restricting the military's page. And that's not all. Myanmar's military will not be able to censor Facebook in any way, because Facebook has suspended their ability to send content removal requests. The social media giant has also promised to protect content in favor of democracy, meaning Facebook will protect posts by the people of Myanmar against their army. And if you're wondering why any of this should matter, we'll tell you why. How can Facebook influence what's happening in Myanmar? It cannot dethrone the military, yes, but it can certainly tip the scales in favor of the other side. Like I said, Facebook is very big in this country. Myanmar has a population of 54 million. Around half of these people are on Facebook. Half the population of this country is on Facebook. 90% of the citizens in Myanmar have access to mobile phones with an internet connection. You can imagine the penetration. Facebook reached this country in 2010. And it quickly dominated the market. That's because it allowed people to access Facebook without incurring data charges. The Facebook app came preloaded in new phones in Myanmar. And all of these factors allowed Facebook to penetrate the market in Myanmar and integrate into Myanmar's culture. For many people in Myanmar, Facebook is the internet. It's a habit that they find difficult to give up. So when the coup happened, the people of Myanmar watched it unfold on Facebook. The military banned the platform, but the protesters are still using it to mobilize, to gather support and to connect with each other. A new civil disobedience page was set up days after the coup. It's got nearly 200,000 followers in just a few days. And a hashtag with the same name has now been used millions of times. Facebook had a role to play in Myanmar's election as well. Before the voting began in November, Facebook took down 70 fake accounts and pages. Reports say that they were operated by the military. These accounts either shared positive content about the army or criticized Aung San Suu Kyi and her party. Facebook removed them. Content about the alleged voter fraud was also on Facebook. Now, that's the reason, remember, that the military gave to seize power. It said that the election had been rigged. It's a different matter that they've not yet produced any evidence to show rigging. Nonetheless, since October last year, posts about voter fraud began appearing on Facebook. And 48 hours before the coup, many of these pages called for military intervention. So the first signs of a coup in Myanmar were also seen on social media. Facebook woke up to these posts, and just before it was banned, dozens of accounts were closed. More misinformation has appeared on the platform since. By restricting the military's accounts, Facebook has declared its intent. It wants to aggressively moderate the posts coming out of Myanmar. It is no more a tech company or a media sharing platform. Facebook is an active party to the political churn in Myanmar, and its record in this country is far from perfect. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.